Contestants, are you ready?
Ready.
Ready.
Debate class!
I'm so down for this.
Today on Debate Class, should sneak attack get extra dice on critical?
I'll give you the choice, pro or con.
I think he has to give us the pro or con. No, we're going to choose. I will take con.
That surprised me.
Well, I want to take pro, but I'm up for the challenge of the con.
Okay. So, since you got to choose, I'll go first.
Mm-hmm.
Pro. It says clearly, rules is written. When you roll a critical hit, all damage dice get doubled. Right? Sneak attack is done in dice form. Therefore, it is damage dice, and it should get doubled. There's plenty of stuff out there that is do an extra 5 damage, do an extra this damage, those kinds of things, or...
I think he's...
Let's back it up for 1 second. In 1 D&D, critical will not, rules as written, be doubled. And that was what inspired me for this. Just so you have that context. I don't know if you have...
I'm going to lose this debate because you didn't tell me the whole parameters.
I'm sorry. I should have brought that up before now, I suppose.
Damn it, John.
All right. Rewind all of that. Here's my new argument of why.
My whole new argument.
That's it. We're going to make this fucking argument, and then before they actually publish 1 D&D, they're going to fucking change that.
Maybe.
But all right, so on the assumption that 1 D&D is going to leave it up to folks playing about how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, should we or shouldn't we? We should, and here's why. Rogues typically get limited to some very mediocre weapons, right?
7 points.
They can't swing, two-handed battle axes, great swords, bastard swords, right? Here's a dagger, here's a rapier, 1d6, 1d8, maybe, if you're lucky, you're going to get up to a d8 in damage. Rogues never get a second attack, like fighter types do at 5th level.
2 points.
So the little bit of damage they do, the whole thing about sneak attack is, look, we know you're not going to be able to use great big weapons, and we know you're not going to be able to hit a lot, but you're sneaky, and you know where the soft spots are, and so here it is, sneak attack, and we're going to give it to you. And if you're going to take that one thing that makes them have something comparable to the kind of damage other people in the party can inflict and say, but that doesn't count for double damage. I said, why play rogue? You've taken the best part of rogue and you nerfed it.
10 points.
Bam. I do a mic drop, but it's on a fucking stand.
And it is expensive.
Very.
Okay. Rogue should not get sneak attack on critical hits because of exactly one of the reasons you said they should. Is that they know the soft spots, they get the sneak attack bonus because they set up certain parameters within the fight to give them the bonuses to that. Critical hit does not in any way, shape, or form notate that you had to somehow set up either a flanking or a from the shadows attack. There is no skill base in that. It is pure luck that you struck hard enough to hit for extra.
3 points.
Sneak attack does not have anything to do with that critical hit for that point. Critical hits are specifically available to everyone because it's that luck of the draw that you just had that one really good hit. There's nothing in the rules that states that sneak attack is based off luck. That's based off skill. You're basing those 2 dice rolls off of 2 very different reasons. So to me, if you cannot control the outcome to make sneak attack happen, you do not get the dice for it because it's luck at that point when you roll criticals.
5 points.
Okay. maybe I'm still not understanding the parameters of the debate.
Just keep going.
Is the question, do you get double damage on sneak attack when you crit? Or is it a crit will inflict sneak attack damage where you didn't otherwise get it because of either flanking, another party member there, or surprise, or advantage?
The first one.
So just by virtue of the fact that you rolled critical, if none of the other conditions applied that would get you sneak attack, you will now get it because you rolled that 20.
Wait, no.
No, that you double your dice because you rolled a crit on sneak attack. You don't get to double and get critical damage on sneak attack rolls. Right?
Should you or should you not be able to?
Get double your damage. Yeah, you were fighting the right side.
Okay.
Yeah, you were good.
All right, because part of your argument sounded like I shouldn't get my sneak attack just because I rolled a 20. Well, I'm not. I had to already set up the situation, that skill-based stuff that you were talking about, by either having flanking or having an ally within 5 feet or having advantage on the roll. Right? That's how I got to that point. But let me tell you, the same argument could be used for the fighter who has such a huge plus to his attack roll because he is very proficient in a thing, which is skill based. Because he set up flanking, he got advantage, which made it easier for him to get that 20 on the roll. So that argument that you give applies to everybody. So you can't just say, well, this rogue's the only one that had to use skill and that's what got it to you, because it's the skill of each of those things that those other classes that made it so that they were more likely to hit.
4 points.
Okay. But with that being said, then you can go back to what you said of them having limited availability for such as, second attacks and things like that. There are several magic users who don't have to roll dice for their damage and therefore do not get critical hit damage because they do not roll dice.
20 points.
So do they also get to double because it is a limited skill and they don't get to scale up per se as a fighter or a barbarian would?
A lot of those magic user spells do roll dice.
They do.
3d6, 48, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on. The writers made a concerted decision to make some of the spells dice rolls and some of them just flat damage rolls.
Correct.
Right? And there was reasons that they did that. And those reasons would apply here. Right? So there are plenty of opportunities for a magic user to roll double dice because a majority of their spells roll dice instead of just a flat damage or a damage range. So there's a reason those other spells don't roll dice. And unless you're willing to break all those reasons, I don't see any reason to change that.
3 points.
Certainly. But if we start getting into the rogue doesn't get enough, which is contestable given that they have things like being able to use poisons and offhand attacks and things like that where they can wield two weapons at the same time with limited penalties, if I recall correctly, that you have to apply that to classes such as druids and rangers who may have skills that do not roll dice and would get critical damage doubled if we follow this rule of thinking that because they have limited scalability into heavier hits, they should be able to have that extra bump to damage.
5 points.
Yeah, again, pick any class. Druids, most of their damage is based on dice rolls, whether it's a spell or a weapon. And they'll get the benefit just like everybody else. When that crit comes along, roll double that number of dice. So, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If it's good for every other player for their spell or their class feature or whatever to get doubled because it's based on a dice roll, why would you take it away from the rogue?
2 points.
No rebuttal.
I rest my case.
Now it's time for the anger round.
I
Extra
You just don't
points
want me to
awarded
be
for anger
happy.
and emotional.
was just reading chat.
Yeah.
Where Honono had to point out that my locker was so bad it was like moving out of your parents' house at the end of the school year. It was a couple hours worth of. because every piece of paper you had to look at and say, was this trash or should I have kept this?
Right.
It was tough.
Sounds like most of it should have been at your parents' house getting signed.
There was some.
There's some.
There was some.
So you want an angry round?
Yeah.
Was that not it?
Okay, we can get
Get more emotional.
Okay. Can we switch sides? Because it's really hard to do the con side. It's really hard.
All right, let's do it. The switch side, con side. Are you freaking kidding me? They're third level. They're getting 3 freaking D6 as sneak attack. And any rogue worth his freaking salt can get sneak attack on 90% of his attacks. They may not get an extra attack at 5th level like everybody else does, but a measly little rogue, a little slinking thief, is dealing more damage per
Exactly.
round than
If it's a measly little thief-
sword-wielding fighter over here.
If it's a measly little
Send to
thief,
Steve.
then why would you need to continuously say, well, they can't have extra damage? That's ridiculous. If they're a measly little thief, let them have the 3 extra dice. It doesn't sweat off of your barbarian's back who's hitting and hitting and hitting.
What I'm getting
Hey,
at is
Emily.
that it's supposed to be a measly little thief, but from the get-go, we give them the sneak attack bonus, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you watch a thief with a rapier deal 24 points of damage in a round, and then the fucking barbarian hits hard for 8.
Oh, but the barbarian can
24.
get extra mad and do extra, but I can't do it with a rapier? That's bullshit.
It's not bullshit. If it's a little thief, make him a little thief. Why do we got to try to make this thief a big ass fighter? Right? Let's have some lanes here and some roles for people. Like what the hell? Let's just beef up the glass cannon wizard. Give him all the armor he can wear and let him throw 2-handed swords around and put him
Throw
up.
wizards and armor at me, because that's ridiculous and you know it. You're just panning out to whatever little threads that you can find, and it's absolutely ridiculous. If you want to play the semantics game and go into all this bullshit, we can, but it doesn't prove your point any further. The fact is that you're saying the rogues have a lane, and I think that's really close-minded of you, and I'm not going to continue to argue with someone who can't be diverse in his thoughts.
30 points.
How's this for fucking diverse? Okay. The rogue has been, is now, and probably always will be over freaking powered for what it is. The minute we gave him sneak attack on every fucking thing. So who wants to play a fighter anymore?
6 points.
I'll be a rogue with all these pluses and all these skills because I can go deal just as much fucking damage and I can get just as high an armor class, and it's fucking silly.
So
2 points.
is it a wimpy little rogue or overpowered class? Which one
It's
is it?
supposed to be a wimpy little rogue, but we've forgotten about that somewhere along the line.
8 points to Emily for sarcasm. I think we have finished.
You've ruined Thanksgiving.
10 points for ruining Thanksgiving to Steve.
Oh, to Steve, that's not fair.
We might have to make it a standard feature of the anger round that we have to switch sides.
Because it worked out so much better. It's hard to be angry when I'm still trying to formulate why is this a bad thing.
Clay, rogue discrimination. Right? This is terrible. And I would just like to point out this was a debate. I do not necessarily agree with every viewpoint that I espoused. This is debate club, and you have to be able to argue both sides. So if we could keep from blowing up on Twitter that
That'd be
Steve
great.
discriminates against rogues in any way, I'd appreciate that.
Sorry.
I will have to announce the winner.
I didn't even know we were doing points in the beginning, and then he called out points. I was like, oh shit, there's points.
And I was nailing them.
With a score of 79 to 70, Emily is the winner.
What? I'm calling fix. If I was sleeping with you, I bet I'd had 89.
Hey, man,
To be fair, I was just like saying random numbers. at random
it was
times.
like
but if you keep it up, it eventually
it
will
was
pay back.
whose line is it anyway type of scoring over there.
Where all the jokes are made up and none of the points matter.
Or that one ESPN show where he's just hitting the up and
Yeah.
down button.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
Pardon the interruption.
One of those.
The guy
Around the
from
horn.
Around the horn.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that was great.
It was hilarious.
I love how me and you can both turn on angry and hostile like nothing and then turn it right back off.